In the era of fan wars and Twitter beef, I feel like we have completely lost the code because why on God's green planet are we comparing Taylor Swift to Beyonce, let alone Michael Jackson? In today's video, we're going to be talking about white privilege, fan wars, and why people feel like it's necessary to compare Beyonce and Taylor Swift. So if you're interested in that topic, keep on watching. Hi guys, welcome or welcome back to Ella Pastoral. If this is your first time ever coming upon this channel right here, typically I talk about all of my favorite pieces of media. And in today's video, we're definitely going to be talking about Taylor Swift and why there is a recent trend of people comparing her to black icons. A little disclaimer before I start talking about what I need to be talking about. This is technically going to be my second Taylor Swift video. And I do have to acknowledge that Taylor Swift is a very talented young lady. And even though I have my own personal issues with her, you'll know if you watch my Taylor Swift and Matt Healy video, I feel like this situation is just gross and messy. So before we can begin to understand why it's so disrespectful, in my personal opinion, with people to compare Taylor Swift to Michael Jackson and Beyonce, we need to first understand who these people are. Beyonce Knowles Carter is a singer, songwriter, and actress who is known as being an American black icon, having a wide reach from America all the way to China and overall being known across the world. Beyonce first got her big break, I guess, by starring in the girl group known as Destiny's Child, where she was known and is still known as the main member. And due to the fact that all of the spotlight was always put on her, a meme came out of this situation where people would always be like, oh, I'm the Beyonce of the group. And that saying is practically trying to indicate, if you say that you're the Beyonce of the group, that means you're the most popular, talented, the one that people really come to see. Beyonce isn't just known for her time as a member of Destiny's Child, however. She is mostly known for her powerful vocals, her breathtaking performances, as well as just being that girl and just consistently being able to stay in the music industry despite starting when she was like a teenager. Beyonce is so influential that she literally changed so many different things in the music industry. And now that I've given you guys a little bit of a backstory in terms of Beyonce's influence, we need to talk about Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was an American songwriter, dancer, as well as a performer who is sadly no longer with us. He revolutionized the music industry with his vocals, breathtaking dance performances, as well as having a political undertone in a lot of his music, as well as his very unique music videos. He broke racial barriers, set new expectations for artists, and literally he is that guy. Like, we all know Mariah Carey is like the queen of Christmas. If Michael Jackson was still alive right now, he would be the king of Halloween because his impact is that great. Every Halloween we get a Thriller music video because of his impact. Despite the fact that Michael Jackson has been dead for several years, it is widely recognized and accepted that he was so impactful to the music industry and the world at large. And we still today, even though he has been dead, like I said, is still known as the king of pop. Like, I cannot understate how influential and impactful Beyonce and Michael Jackson are to the world and pop culture as we know it. And just so you guys don't think I'm being biased in how I'm practically gassing up Beyonce and Michael Jackson, I decided that we're going to need a couple of statistics, so you guys can look at the numbers, because numbers tend to be unbiased. For Beyonce, in terms of the number of records that she has sold over 200 million records, making her one of the most top-selling artists in the world. And the only person I think who even matches her in terms of that has to be her husband, Jay-Z. Beyonce has won a total of 32 awards and has had 88 nominations from the Grammys. This includes her work from when she was in Destiny's Child and her joint album that she did with her husband, known as The Carters. This makes her one of the only artists that has ever been awarded that many Grammys and nominated that much. And the only person who ties with her is literally her husband, so we can't really include him. Not only is Beyonce known for her music as well as her talent, she's also known for being an active feminist and a social justice advocate. She has gotten into a lot of scandals. She wants to be black and in your face, and if you guys know anything about America, if you're a little too black and a little too proud while being black, you get shut down. If you guys remember all of the hate that Beyonce got during the whole little Super Bowl thing where she dressed up and showed homage to the Black Panther Party, you know how upset a lot of white people were to see that Beyonce was black and loud with it. And Beyonce has a tendency to use her platform to talk about things that are troubling in our society. If you had watched my last video on Taylor Swift and why I have a lot of issues with her, Taylor Swift struggles very hard to talk about any type of social movements. She literally has to be pressured by her fans to speak out on things, and I feel like that is not the case with Beyonce. Beyonce is a mega icon in specifically the LGBT community. If you guys had listened to her Renaissance album and have just been keeping up with her Renaissance tour, you know a lot of the members of the LGBT community love her. The inclusion of LGBT music in Beyonce's music, like if you know, you know. Beyonce and the gay community specifically are like this. So now that I've talked a little bit about Beyonce, her stats and all of that, I really want to talk about Michael Jackson, because even though this man is no longer with us, his presence and his impact on our culture, specifically our pop culture, is still widely felt. So Michael Jackson has sold over 350 million records, period, across the globe. Michael Jackson has also won 13 Grammy Awards, 8 being specifically for his album known as Thriller. If you guys were on TikTok, Twitter, any of the social media sites at all during Halloween, you would know that even though this man has been dead for years, Thriller stays unmatched. People was making flash mobs and ish because that's how impactful Thriller was. Michael Jackson was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame twice. Once when he was a part of his little own boy group with his family known as the Jackson 5 in 1997, and again in the year I was born, 2001, as his own solo artist. Michael Jackson has been in the game since he was a little kid, and since then he has just been opening doors for so many black artists. Like, he is him, period. And even though Michael Jackson has been dead for a long time, I feel like now that you guys have known the little stats, whatever, we cannot underplay his success. There will be no other Michael Jackson. I don't know, maybe in 1,000 years, but based off his impact, his success from literally being a kid up until now, there will be no Michael Jackson. There will literally be no one to take Michael Jackson's place as the king of pop, especially Chris Brown. Because for some reason, y'all keep bringing up Chris Brown. God, I hate it when y'all do that. So now that I practically described why I feel like Beyonce and Michael Jackson are icons, I need to talk about Swifties. So there's this little quote that I found on the internet, and it said, "The thief of joy is comparison." And I feel like that is so true, especially when we are talking about fan wars. When we want to compare people, when we're in the topic of fan discussions, it literally just kills the joy in fandom. Comparisons in fandom are always the worst, because in order to justify why you think your fave is the best out of everybody else, you'll literally have to bring someone down, and I have never been with that, because I like who I like and you can like who you like. Stop trying to pit people against each other, especially when it's women. It's always so annoying and obnoxious. And especially concerning the topic of why people think it's okay to compare Beyonce to Taylor Swift, I'm not even gonna bring up Michael Jackson, because that one is just beyond disrespectful, because I don't think Taylor Swift will ever get to the level of Michael Jackson. But when people want to compare Taylor Swift to Beyonce, I feel like they are setting that girl up. And when people literally try to compare Beyonce to Taylor Swift, I feel like it's an epic setup, because there's no way you can look at Taylor Swift and how she does her stuff and Beyonce and decide to open up your mouth and compare them. I feel like some of you guys aren't even Swifties for real. You guys are antis, because when this topic came up around the Eras tour, there was this one user on Twitter that was like, "Oh, Beyonce could never compare to Taylor Swift," and literally the whole entire internet turned on this person and Taylor Swift.
I went to Taylor, by the way.
You saw Taylor?
This is the greatest live concert I've ever seen in my life. The only person you can compare Taylor Swift to is Michael Jackson. There's nobody else. You're doing a disservice to any other artist if you compare Taylor Swift to that. I'm being honest with you, it is the most amazing live concert I've ever seen.
And you've seen Beyonce.
Son, I've seen Beyonce. And this is gonna hurt feelings here, but you're doing a disservice to Beyonce to compare her to Taylor Swift, because Taylor is in another galaxy. I was a Taylor hater. I'm going there because my wife wants to go. I've been making fun of this girl for a decade. And within one song, I'm standing up. I knew you were trouble when you walked in. I felt like such a phony. I went in there not thinking I was gonna be blown away, and it was spectacular. I hate we have to compare them. It's unfair to Beyonce. The only person you can compare Taylor to is Michael Jackson. If you talk about hits, I don't want to do this, but we could do it. You can't tell me Beyonce has the same amount of hits, no features, as Taylor.
Nah, she does.
Take away the features, you can't even name them.
Wait, are you talking about no Destiny's Child?
No Destiny's Child, no Jay-Z, no Sean Paul.
Oh, you mean with nobody?
No features! We have to let me know what features are! What I hate hate is
You
that
need
y'all
to
even
speak.
bring Beyonce into it. Y'all need to just compare Taylor Swift and Michael Jackson, and it's close. We do not want to have the conversation of writing their own songs, and that's what makes a great artist. We're not talking about the greatest performer of all
There's
time.
no way Taylor writes all her.
If all of it.
Michael Jackson didn't even write his own music.
That's what I'm trying to say. If we want to have the conversation of greatest artists of all time, and I know that we don't want to have this
what, though?
conversation, it's Taylor motherfucking Swift.
There was threads just comparing Taylor Swift at her worst. And I just feel like you guys set her up to get hated on. And there's no way you can call yourself a Swiftie and practically caused her to get dogpiled like this. I have to be so serious here. When we are going to be talking about the topic of fan wars and Swifties, we have to talk about the elephant in the room, and this has to be how most of Taylor Swift fans are white women. When discussing how problematic fandom can be and how problematic white women and white NBs can be in fandom, I have no better resource than Harriana's new book. This book is called Do Not Call Me Sis, and this was written by her and Amaya Janelle, and I'm specifically reading from the essay called May I? And it says right here, white women and NBs in fandom have no issue disrespecting black women and NBs and then using AAV against them. History repeats itself in mysterious ways, and it's a proven fact that white women and NBs feel as if their whiteness gives them an advantage over black women and NBs. Therefore, they can get away with how they talk to them. Even as far as going to telling black women and NBs they are allowed to use AAVE as much as they want. It's entitlement. And I wanted to read that specific quotes because I feel like it really relates to this section of the video, where I feel like despite the illogical comparison of comparing Beyonce to Taylor Swift, and even worse, Taylor Swift to Michael Jackson, a lot of it is entitlement, but let's talk about it further in the video essay. And if you have ever been in a fandom space that is dominated by white women, you know how a lot of them can be very, very, very racist if you dare step out of line. Like, I personally have friends who are Swifties. They're Asian, so I don't have to deal with a lot of the anti-blackness whenever I bring up Taylor Swift's problems. But whenever I open up TikTok, oh my god, it's literally like hell. When it comes to talking about Taylor Swift and why so many Swifties think that it's okay to compare her to someone who, like, the comparisons aren't comparing. Like, we need to be serious. We have to talk about the topic of white privilege. And the reason why I feel like so many Swifties believe that it's okay to just consistently start fan wars, especially with black fans, is that they feel like Taylor Swift is on that level. And I'm not gonna lie to you, your girl Taylor, she has been doing some stuff. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, she does her little 1-2-1-2, but Taylor Swift is still not at that level yet. And I feel like setting her up to the comparison of Beyonce, who's been in the game since like back in the day, is just not it. I really wish a lot of Swifties could just enjoy Taylor Swift for what she is, listen to her music, and keep it pushing. I know people who like Taylor Swift, like a couple of her songs, and keep it pushing, but for you to call yourself a Swiftie, I feel like it's the same thing when K-pop fans call themselves stans. It's a level of obsession. Like, I'm gonna insert this TikTok for you guys to watch, and I want you to look at the high level of delusion a lot of Swifties have.
White girl boss feminism needs to be stopped. You are comparing Taylor Swift to a philosopher, an empress, a suffragette, a warrior, a physicist, close friend of Marie Antoinette, and Cleopatra. White mediocrity has you in a chokehold, honey. In a freaking chokehold. The idolization of white women pop stars is going to be the death of any progress that we make towards women's liberation. And that's not even me being hyperbolic. That's just the truth. Like, I would laugh if it wasn't so sad, you know?
Like, I feel like people think that Taylor Swift is a god. And that's where you lose me. I don't believe in holding a lot of celebrities to high pedestals because they will consistently disappoint you. If you have been on social media at all and you're looking at any of the things that are being posted about the whole Israel-Gaza thing, celebrities will disappoint you. I'm looking at you, Selena. I made a whole video like, guys, we need to stop bullying Selena. Retrospect. But anyway, I feel like people don't really want to be serious when it comes to Taylor Swift. Like Taylor Swift, like I said, she does her little 1-2-1-2. But I really feel like you should just, hey, I love Taylor, and keep it pushing instead of trying to tear other people down. And the God worship that a lot of white women have towards Taylor Swift is the main problem and the main cause of all of this unnecessary discourse. Because I really feel like people do not realize that what's for you is for you and what is for others is for others. I feel like the main issue that comes with Swifties is that a lot of them overestimate Taylor Swift's impact. Like I already stated the facts. I already put Beyonce's stats for you guys to listen to, Taylor Swift's stats to listen to, right? But Swifties need to specifically understand that Taylor Swift's main demographic is white girls and women, okay? That means in the little demographic for white girls and women, she is that girl. That group, they love her, right? But outside of white girls and white women, Taylor Swift is really not that popular. For Beyonce, I really feel like she has a wider reach than just white women and girls. Obviously, white women and girls love her. A great example of this is the little SNL skit that I recently just watched on TikTok, where it was... That little skit was hilarious to me, but it was the day that white women figured out Beyonce was black. That was hilarious, right? Because before, Beyonce didn't really have that va-va-voom blackness in your face. So when Beyonce did a little Super Time halftime show thing and showed out that she was black and proud, it shocked a lot of white women. But Beyonce's main demographic isn't just white women and girls. I feel like it exceeds that. Beyonce is really popular with the LGBT community. Like her most recent album was mostly catered towards them. But Beyonce also has like older individuals as well, because she's been in the game for like a long time. And so people don't understand that in their in-group, someone might be really popular in their in-group, but outside of their in-group, that person might not be that popular. A great example of this is the whole nonsense that's happening with Usher right now. Well, I'm saying this right now, like I'm not filming this like months after the situation, but if you guys don't know, Usher is supposed to be like the main headliner for like the Super Bowl. And recently on TikTok, because the new Jujutsu Kaisen episode got released, people have been using his song like Daddy's Home to talk about how Gojo got free from whatever prison cage they got him in. And at first we were all joking like, oh my gosh, like he should really bring Gojo. As a joke. But a lot of white and Asian fans were like, no, like he needs to bring Gojo on the stage because Jujutsu Kaisen fans are the only reason he's popular.
The Gojo fans have lost their minds. Roll the clip.
But seeing this, it got me thinking, it got me wondering, because why is Usher of all people performing at the Super Bowl? Because first of all, this man has not been relevant in like over a decade. When was the last time you heard an Usher song on the radio?
You want to talk about relevancy? Rihanna hadn't dropped an album since 2016 when she did her halftime show. I didn't hear a single peep in the news about Shakira and J-Lo before their Super Bowl performance. And arguably the best example, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, 50 Cent, Dr. Dre, Mary J. Blige. None of them were trending on TikTok when it was their time to perform. No one wants to go to a concert where they can't sing along. The Super Bowl halftime performance is essentially a giant concert with people around the world tuned in. They want to know that you can keep people engaged because they know your music. When she was putting out music, Rihanna's songs were doing insane numbers, and that's why her performance went over well.
Lady Gaga has 53 million and she's Lady Gaga.
Another example of white people not considering other audiences, because she's Lady Gaga, but Usher ain't Usher?
Madonna only has 39 million, but she's Madonna. She's like historical, right? Usher does not have the same historical importance as Madonna. I'm sorry, Usher.
The apology was necessary because what are you talking about? I'm gonna need the breakdown quickly on how Madonna is less historically important in pop culture than Usher. Madonna doesn't have a single song to ever hit 1 billion streams, but you know who does? Not to mention, Usher was backing Justin Bieber, arguably one of the most influential pop artists of the late 2000s, early 2010s.
What is it about Usher that makes him marketable right now?
As a football fan, this whole argument grinds my gears. After the Super Bowl ends, they're already looking for people to perform at the next Super Bowl. Something that happened within the last month had no influence on that. But since we're discussing his relevancy, everyone not just talking about him and Keke Palmer. Ain't he on tour right now? And also, doesn't he still have Las Vegas residency? And guess where the Super Bowl is taking place at in 2024? Right, okay.
But one of his songs does happen to be trending. Why did that song start trending? Now, I'm not saying that a bunch of Gojo edits is influencing the Super Bowl.
That's why I'm gonna cut it off, because no, that's exactly what you're saying. Like, I was laughing. I was keying with y'all when y'all were saying we should pull Gojo on stage at the Super Bowl. Because the jokes were funny, but they remained within the niche of the JJK fandom. But the entitlement that you must have to truly believe that you have this influence on someone like Usher, that you believe you made Usher culturally relevant, is so incredibly dismissive of the influence that black people have on pop culture, and incredibly dismissive of Usher's level of fame. Everybody know Usher. You probably know more Usher songs than you think you know. You just don't know it was Usher. I don't know how, but this fandom needs to get knocked down a few pegs.
I understand being delusional, but you need to click yourself back into reality ASAP. Like, what are you talking, Usher? Usher? Y'all made his trend. I don't even know what to say. Like, y'all made his song trend a little bit, and now y'all think y'all made Usher. The Delulu? The Delulu is serious in y'all. And I feel like that's the same thing with Swifties. Swifties are exceptionally delusional. And I understand being delusional, but you need to center yourself back in reality. Like, you need to have an ability to center yourself back in reality. But one thing that has always rubbed me wrong in terms of this whole Taylor Swift versus Beyonce fiasco that's always going on is the lack of whiteness in the comparisons. And let me explain this concept to y'all. Like, if I'm being serious, I understand that no matter what I do, there will always be comparisons in fan wars. Like, I can't change that, you can't change that, we have to be serious. If you look at Taylor Swift and her Swifties, you realize that Taylor Swift is only ever put up against black people. Like, the Michael Jackson one, that one killed me, y'all. That one, I physically don't even know what to say. I don't even know if I can even shut that down. That one just doesn't make any sense. Like, Michael Jackson, he ain't even in the ring. Like, that was just disrespectful with it. Especially, anyway, back on topic. Y'all never want to compare Taylor Swift to her fellow white peers. Like, ever. Whenever a topic of, Taylor Swift ate your fave up, they always talking about someone who's black. Like, I was talking to my friend about this, and she was like, oh, Emma, it's because there's no white girl who's popping off like Taylor. Which is true. Nobody is doing it like Taylor Swift. I'm not gonna lie. She went to her friend's wedding, and the Swifties, they came like they was Avengers Assemble in the freaking, what do you call it, Infinity Wars. I've never seen people do it like this except for the K-pop stands, and they scare the hell out of me, right? But still, Taylor Swift isn't doing it like Beyonce. And every day is think piece. This is how Taylor Swift is like Beyonce. So let's talk about it, because I have my cute little list. I had to pull out my little list because I was always so confused, right? But these are some of the white female like pop stars or popular white girlies that, they be doing their little 1-2-1-2 that I'm so confused that people don't compare with Taylor Swift. The first girly I have is Miley Cyrus. I feel like I'm just so confused why people don't compare Miley Cyrus to Taylor Swift. They both have their American blonde girl next door type of feel, except for that one time that Miley Cyrus wanted to be black. Watch my video about white women in black spaces if you guys want to know. But after she separated herself from blackness, she went back to her girl next door cookie cutter image. So I'm confused why, y'all don't be putting them against each other like y'all do her and Beyonce. The next person I have is Selena Gomez. Selena Gomez pisses me the hell off following her situation on Instagram. You'll know why. But she makes music, and she's literally always on like some type of social media because of the whole her versus Hailey Bieber nonsense. So I'm confused why y'all don't stat versus stat. Another person I have is Demi Lovato. I think Demi Lovato goes by she, her pronouns now, but I don't know. Put her in the ring. And the last person, and I feel like the person who makes the most sense, is Ariana Grande. Like, if you guys know about Ariana Grande, you know about Ariana Grande. Like, she was a Disney girl. No one thought she was going to be the breakout star from Nickelodeon, but boom, she popped out, did her 1-2-1-2, put out album after album. She gonna be in the Wicked, the little Wicked movie or whatever. I don't know if you're gonna be boycotting that. Who knows? The state of the world is literally in hell. But literally, I'm so confused why people don't compare her to Taylor Swift. Like, I feel like they have a lot of comparisons, more than Taylor Swift and Beyonce, but I never hear y'all pit those two girls together. And real quick, before I move on to my next point, y'all never compare Taylor Swift to white icons. I was talking to my friend about this. I'm like, if we're gonna go for newer kid to older adults, why does no one compare Taylor Swift to like who's somebody I really like? Britney Spears, Adele. Who's somebody who be doing it? Madonna. It's always Beyonce. And I just feel like it's the racism and white privilege. And I really feel like it's confusing because why is it always Beyonce? Why does it always have to be someone who's black? Because then in order to justify the nonsense, the Swifties turn to a lot of anti-blackness in order to justify their points. And as someone who's black and for some reason has Taylor Swift all on her For You page, I blame my friends. I blame them actively. I'm tired of the shenanigans. I had to pull back my phone because I had some things to say on why I feel like people think it is necessary to try to compare Taylor Swift to black icons. The reason why I feel like people feel like it's necessary to compare Taylor Swift to black icons has to be white privilege. Like in order for white privilege to work, you consistently have to be better than the out groups. The out groups being like anybody who's not white. Black people, Asian people, it's consistently a thing that we see. Like, there'll never be peace. There'll physically never be peace. And like I said before, I really feel like people do not understand that outside of their in groups, right, there are people outside of said in groups that have impact. Like the anime fans not understanding that Usher is an important icon and that they did not make him famous. Usher been doing his thing, right? And I feel like there will actually never be peace because a lot of white women and white girls see themselves in Taylor Swift. Like they see themselves as the American girl next door and they see Taylor Swift's success as their success. And in order to be successful, a lot of people can't just thrive in their own success. They need to bring someone down below them. Like, you can't be that girl unless you have people below you. You feel me? That's just how some people think. Like I said, the thief of all joy is like comparison. Whatever I said, I'm tired. It's like 8 o'clock where I'm filming at. But I really feel like a lot of Swifties are insecure in themselves and they use Taylor Swift to all of her success, all of her like Grammys, all of her talents to inflate their egos. And the fact that they can go and look at Beyonce and see that Beyonce is doing well, they feel really disturbed in their spirit because Taylor Swift isn't there yet. But it doesn't have to be a comparison thing. Like I said, enjoy her music and keep it pushing. Like, instead of doing all of this versus nonsense, go stream her girl's music. Like, the main way to support the artist you love is by buying their music. All of this versus nonsense is so unhelpful, and I need Swifties specifically to understand that. Another reason why people could possibly be comparing Beyonce and Taylor Swift is that both of their fan bases are really unhinged and wild. I feel like the Beehive has calmed down a lot in recent years, but before, bro, like the Beehive, oh my goodness, like it was bad. Like I think there was a rumor that this girl was cheating on Jay-Z. That Jay-Z was cheating on Beyonce with this random girl. And said girl got bullied for months. And I don't even think that she knew Jay-Z like that for real. The Beehive, they be going hard. And the Swifties be going hard too. Remember when I told y'all they low-key ruined Taylor Swift's friend's wedding because they wanted to see Taylor Swift? So I could understand that aspect. But y'all don't be comparing the fandoms. Y'all be comparing the artists. And that's why we're here in this terrible situation, because y'all want to compare the artists instead of letting them be in their own circles and be in their own spheres. And now that I practically talked about how, like, for stat, this whole comparison of Beyonce and Taylor Swift doesn't make any sense, I want to talk about the main reason why I feel like this whole comparison nonsense is stupid, and that has to be misogyny. Misogyny is killing us, y'all. Misogyny is killing us, y'all. Like I said before, the thief of all joy is comparison, or whatever I said. To be honest, I don't even remember. But the thief of comparison is joy. The thief of joy is comparison. Because literally, these girls are like not even similar. They don't even make the same type of music. Like, this is just beef for beef's sake. And the person who I really have to blame has to be Kanye. Y'all know how y'all be on the internet talking about some, oh, it's Queen Nigel's fault. It's Queen Nigel's fault. It's Kanye's fault.
The reason why I am specifically blaming Kanye is because if he never went up on that stage and took the mic from Taylor Swift and went on that whole rant about how Beyonce makes better music than Taylor Swift, we would never be in this situation to begin with. I really feel like that would be the case, because ever since that moment, it's been beef. And I feel like it really shouldn't have been beef, because there's just so much misogyny in the realm of music. If you're a fan of any of the rap girlies, you know it's literally been hell for us. The female rappers are consistently always fighting each other, and I feel like, especially since Beyonce and Taylor Swift do not have any beef, us making beef is such a major issue. Because you know what the gag truly is for this entire situation? Beyonce and Taylor are friends. Like, this picture dropped on Twitter, right? And it was Beyonce going out of her way to go see Taylor Swift's live, movie premiere for her tour, right? And the thing about Beyonce is that we never see her. We only see her once every full moon. So for her to pop out and be in person to support Taylor Swift like that, we don't see it for like nobody else. So this really goes to show us that this whole beef that is being orchestrated on Twitter and online is really just an online thing. Taylor and Beyonce are friends, and I really feel like we need to cut out the shenanigans. But I want to really talk about how there is just so much misogyny in these fandoms, because it's literally getting out of hand. I'm just gonna read you guys a couple of really hateful comments that I saw in the article, "Is Taylor Swift bigger than Beyonce? What the stats reveal" by Newsweek. And when I say that a lot of these comments are disgusting, they're really disgusting, so be warned. So the first comment says, "Michael Jackson was much prettier than either and far more talented and famous." And you can just see by this comment how much misogyny is rampant in the comparison of Beyonce and Taylor Swift. Because what are you talking about, bro? Why are you comparing the looks of these artists? Like, you're a weirdo. The next comment is, "Oh, please, just look at the beauty that's coming from Beyonce. Taylor doesn't belong on the same page." I do have to admit that Newsweek should not have used a picture of Taylor that looks like she threw her hip out in a dance move. Like, why would you say that? That's what I'm talking about. Like, all of this fan beef is just causing unnecessary hate, because that was so mean to say, and they literally got downvoted like hell, as they deserved. And someone said, "They are both beautiful. This article was pointless." And the one comment that really let me know that y'all are just gross is, "Not bigger when you consider Beyonce's giant middle age, spreading behind, and thunder thighs." I don't even know if this needs an analysis. This is just gross. But a lot of y'all are so gross when it comes to comparing Taylor Swift and Beyonce. I only pulled out like these comments to show y'all, but if you go on any thread on Twitter right now or even TikTok, you can see that people are losing their like ever-loving minds in terms of this comparison war that's going on. And the gag is, these two girls are friends and y'all are doing this. I'm going to be reading you guys a quote from the article known as "Beyonce versus Taylor Swift: Debates Rooted in Societal Misogyny" by Nikki Keating. It says right here, "Pitting women against each other is an age-old tradition practiced by men who shouldn't have an opinion. Women can follow societal trends and patterns that promote misogyny. When multiple women are put in positions of power or fame, positions that Beyonce and Taylor Swift are very much in, it challenges a standard narrative that there can only be one woman worthy of desire. TV shows like Bridgerton, books like The Selection, and movies like Mean Girls convey that there can only be one woman who wins the guy, one woman who rules the school, and one woman who is the best. The other girls, they are competition or side characters meant to uplift or challenge the main girl. Subsequently, what we watch on the screen is how we look at life." So how does this relate to Swift and Beyonce? I challenge the idea that one is better than the other primarily because the two couldn't be farther from each other as artists. Taylor Swift's brand is dependent on white feminism and indie folk pop. Her music and set are retro-inspired and fun, focusing on the themes of womanhood through the lens of her southern white upbringing. Beyonce focuses on her experience as a black woman in America. Her songs and sets often center around the themes of Black power and the Black feminist movement. Her music is drawn from R&B, pop, and hip-hop, and she frequently collaborates with artists like Kendrick Lamar or Jay-Z. Yet people feel the need to pit them against each other. No one compares Hozier's tour to Drake's. There aren't thousands of TikToks dragging the two men or articles counting and comparing the amount of costumes, set lists, and even locations the artists have. Instead, people are talking about how funny it is that women throw bras on stage for a chance that Drake might read off the size or put it on his face. Many TikToks focus on the fact that Hozier is a perfect man, capable of describing how women want to be yearned for by a man. Once again, men are praised for doing the bare minimum in catering towards women by acknowledging them, while two women's tours risk being outshadowed by a debate started by a man. Artists are supposed to be different from each other. That's what makes music so special. We are also allowed to critique artists because that inspires new music and perspective in the industry, but we need to do better conversing about female artists in the music industry. There doesn't have to be Cardi versus Nicki, Doja versus Rico, Katy versus Taylor, because they're all great artists. They wouldn't be famous if they weren't. This doesn't mean you can't have a favorite artist or acknowledge the genuine flaws artists have, but we do not need to devalue another artist to make your opinions more valid. We don't have to tear down one woman to uplift another. There shouldn't only be one.
And I saw a really good comment that was left under my YouTube poll asking you guys if you even wanted to see this video. And I'm just gonna read it for you guys.
I decided to block out this person's actual ad name, but they said it's such an interesting comparison. Like, from my perspective, Beyonce contributes to Black culture, and I would say Black queer culture. Taylor contributes to popular culture, and surprisingly, she contributes to queer culture, but not at all in the same way Beyonce has and does, because Taylor contributes through a lens of white pop culture, while Beyonce contributes through the lens of Blackness. They also do different things to me as artists and performers that cannot be compared without personal bias, which is totally fine. I also only see Taylor stance comparing the two, which makes me think they are just threatened by Beyonce existing, but I don't know everything, and I hope you cover this. The person followed up their comment by saying, Taylor gives the queer community the white femininity model that the gay community specifically historically attaches to. Beyonce gives the queer community the Black American femininity model, boss bitch kind of queen energy, but she also serves messages of liberation and deconstruction that I think particularly hits the many of the queer Black community, especially the queer Black femmes of all kinds. I find it interesting that people want to mark one as better than the other, when to me they aren't even competing in exactly the same race at all when it comes to their messages, audiences, and hurdles. They are both rich though. And then another person said, agreed. I'm just going to add there was a time when Beyonce was contributing to mainly pop culture.
And I feel like they made a very good point. Like, Beyonce and Taylor Swift are just so different. Like, they're literally like on other sides of the continent. And I really feel like we need to do better and stop pitting these people together. I'm talking directly to the Swifties, because nobody brings up Taylor Swift until y'all bring up Taylor Swift. But I need y'all to just support her in silence. Don't bring no other fandoms into this, okay? Because I notice when y'all do, y'all be racist, okay? Stop that. Stop that. Stop that, okay? Okay, cool. And yeah, that's all I have to say. I'm hoping as we evolve as a people, we learn to shut the hell up. Shutting the hell up is also an option, right? Get off Twitter. Touch some grass. Be realistic. But I also hope that we as a people can learn to support the artists that we like and not bring other people into the nonsense. Thank you guys for watching until this point of the video. It seriously means a lot. I want to say special thanks to all of my current Patreons who made this video possible. Without your support, guys, I wouldn't be able to do it. Y'all seriously give me the motivation to get up and film. Like, with the way school's been treating me and school administration has been treating me and all of my nursing colleagues, y'all really give me the motivation to come and do this YouTube thing. So if you want to also support my channel and help me make videos, you can join my Patreon, Ella Pastoral on Patreon. I have a lot of fun things going on over there, exclusive videos that you guys won't be able to see on YouTube. And yeah, if you want to enjoy that, go over there. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.